Can you talk a little bit about self-awareness? Because sometimes I'll just say, me personally, I am told that I'm very self-aware by you. You've told me I'm self-aware.
Yes.
But my biggest fear in life is like being that person that just has a complete lack of self-awareness, doesn't know when people are annoyed with them, doesn't know when they're standing in someone's way, things like that. How can you improve your self-awareness and how can you tell if you are a self-aware person?
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit
You,
about
you
that?
know, when I think about self-awareness, I think about this idea of being mindful that you're taking up space, that you are actually not the only person in the room, that your presence or that your energy is affecting other people at all times, whether it's positively, negatively, or neutrally, you're still impacting people. And so, my idea of self awareness is noticing that you're taking that space, noticing that you're impacting the environment around you. So, if I look a little bit deeper than that, self awareness is really what emotional intelligence is being able to recognize, well, being aware of what I'm feeling, right? And that's part of self awareness, uh, understanding why I'm feeling it, where I'm feeling it in my body, because an emotion is actually a bodily sensation. And then also being aware of when I felt it before. So there's in emotional intelligence, there's a gentleman by the name of Daniel Goleman who talks about four pillars of emotional intelligence. And the first one's awareness. And then there's regulation, communication, and empathy. But with awareness, it's really understanding why I feel what I feel, where I'm feeling it, when I've felt it before, so I can see patterns. So if I can see patterns of how I behave, then I can anticipate how I'm going to feel in every situation. And that's being self aware. If, let's say, I have a social anxiety and I know that about myself, well, I can anticipate what I need to do in social settings to be less socially anxious if I can see that pattern. That is self awareness, right? Being able to be proactive rather than reactive. I said to somebody the other day, they were asking about why is emotional intelligence so important? And I said, well, if you look at yourself as a human that was programmed in early life, right? We were all conditioned in childhood based on the environment we grew up in. We actually adapted to the environment we grew up in, and it kind of set a pattern of behavior in that first 18 years that we are going to kind of just automatically engage in throughout our life. And if people that are not self-aware, people that lack emotional intelligence, just allow that program to run them without any conscious thought, without any conscious awareness. And emotional intelligence allows you to rewrite that program in real time. So you're not being reactive, you're actually being proactive. And go ahead.
So, are examples of people who go through life without, I guess you would probably call it emotional intelligence. The way that I think of it is like people who date the same person over and over again,
Yes.
people who get fired for the same reason over and over
Yeah.
again. So, are those, what are other signs of people just kind of running through life without addressing their programming? And is that what that is? That's just poor emotional intelligence,
I
or is that
believe.
something else?
Well, there's probably other things involved in it, right? But I think not noticing patterns, not being conscious, right? And I'm not talking about woke. I'm talking about being awake, meaning looking at yourself from a third person perspective, right? I truly believe that there's this person, Sean, the ego, and then there's my conscious awareness, my consciousness that can actually view my behaviors. And I can see, hey, you know what? You've dated the same person 3 times in a row. Why? Why are you doing that? If you're not asking yourself, what am I contributing to the problem? Then I don't believe you're very mindful. I don't believe you're very self aware. I don't believe you're very conscious. People can see themselves get into all sorts of different patterns. You can find that you go in cycles, right? So like Mondays I'm depressed, Tuesdays I'm angry, Wednesdays I feel a little bit nicer, Thursdays I'm ecstatic, Fridays I feel fantastic. Sundays, I start feeling depressed again. You can start seeing just those basic patterns. And some people don't do that. They don't even recognize that they can, the days of the week that can influence them. So if I know I'm going to feel crappy on a Monday, maybe there's things that I can do to mitigate that. And again, I really believe it is being proactive rather than reactive. And that's the foundation of being self-aware.
Do you feel like you have clients that come to you with poor emotional intelligence and that's something that they can work on? Or is it that people who already have enough emotional intelligence to know that they're the problem and that's why they come to you?
I think both. I think a lot of people come to me because they're starting to know that they are the common denominator in all of the problems that they have. I think some people come to me because their loved ones say, you need to go get help or I'm going to leave. And I believe there's other people that they just kind of accidentally stumble upon it. They come for some type of therapy and they realized, wow, I really don't know how I feel. I didn't even know I didn't know how I feel. I didn't even know why I'm reacting that way. And now that you're talking to me, I'm kind of starting to see patterns. If that makes sense.
That does make sense. And I think, each individual probably has a different combination of those three reasons or three
absolutely.
experiences for sure.
Yes. And and I think I've told you this before, Hannah. We don't make changes as humans until our fear of change is outweighed by our current pain. So when our current pain outweighs our fear of change, we tend to make changes. And so people come to me when they're in a lot of pain. I didn't get sober 20 plus years ago until I was in so much pain. I didn't really have any other choice other than to change the way in which I behaved, the way in which I felt, the way in which I interacted with the world. So I think most people aren't going to become more emotionally intelligent until they're required to.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's their relationships, their job, their relationship with themselves. And really, emotional intelligence is synonymous with becoming healthy, having a healthy relationship with yourself.
Do you think it's easier to gain, I don't know is it called standard intelligence, like versus emotional intelligence? Like which one do you think?
Intellectual intelligence?
Do you think it's easier to become more intellectually intelligent or more emotionally? Like I don't think you're necessarily born with emotional intelligence. That's something I personally think you're probably raised with, right? Like it comes a lot from your parents and your environment.
Yeah.
Intellectual intelligence, there's a piece of that you're just probably born with, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have, I think there is evidence for nature and nurture when it comes to that, kind of what our genetic makeup is versus, the environment we grow up in. So I think there's a little bit of each of that, but how would I answer that question? I was doing research for my TEDx talk. And when I was doing some research, I found that we as humans have been nurturing our intellectual intelligence, studying our intellectual intelligence for over 5,000 years. The first recorded schools are about 2500 BC in Mesopotamia, where we started to teach math in language.
So that's intellectual.
That's intellectual intelligence. So as humans, we have been for 5,000 years making our intellectual intelligence very important. The term emotional intelligence was coined in 1995.
Oh, that's when I was born.
Right. So
like not that long ago, right?
Right. It's probably 1990, I think, right around there. So basically, past 30 years or so, we've been really thinking about emotional intelligence and how important it is. We know very little about it. I believe it's easier to teach somebody mathematics because there's a system that you can look and be like, okay, 1 + 2 = 3. And if you practice that enough, people can get competent on it. Even if it's hard mathematics, if you have the stamina, you can probably learn a lot of mathematics, maybe not all of it, right?
And there's a right answer.
And there's a right answer. I'm not very intellectually intelligent, so I am more prone to be more emotionally intelligent. That's just kind of my genetic makeup, I think. My brother and sister, on the other hand, they're very intellectually intelligent. And so that's easier for them. from a genetic standpoint. I think we also have different fathers, so maybe that has something to do with it. Um, the problem with teaching emotional intelligence is emotions are energy. And you have to be, if you're going to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be able to manage that energy. And a lot of emotional energy is uncomfortable. Anger is uncomfortable. Shame is terribly uncomfortable. Grief is terribly uncomfortable, right? Guilt, fear is overwhelmingly uncomfortable. So to teach somebody to sit with those emotions and to listen to what they're trying to tell you, that's the challenging part. And most people don't want to sit with it. They want to drink it away. They want to get on social media and doom scroll it away. They want to have sex it away. They want to buy it away. They want to work it away, right? They want to rage it away, or, get so depressed that they just don't feel it. So it is not an easy thing to do. And it takes, in my opinion, a lifetime to become perfect at it. And I don't think anybody ever is perfect at it. But when you can learn basic skills of, okay, identifying what you feel, why you feel it, and really where in your body you're feeling it, that is extremely important. Like, where do you feel fear when you're fearful?
I would say, honestly, for me, the easiest one, and I think the one that we started with, was anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that's why my stomach hurts so bad every time. And I remember when I was doing real estate, I couldn't figure out. I thought that I was like gluten intolerant. I thought I had a dairy allergy.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's something I'm eating. No, I was just so anxious all the time. And then as soon as I quit real estate, like, all of my eating or food allergies were gone. So,
yeah. And when you and I were working together and I was saying, hey, just pay attention to that feeling in your stomach.
Well, like the sweaty hands.
Yeah.
Like my hands are sweating really bad right now.
They are right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, because I'm anxious because of,
yeah.
But it's not like I think I've been told at least that excitement and anxiety can be really closely tied, and that you can kind of flip it on its head if you're starting to feel that way. So like for this, it's easy for me to say like, oh, I'm just excited. Whereas like if I have to do something that I'm not comfortable with, like real estate, I just hated it. It was awful. That's when I start to feel it like in my stomach. Like if it's something I can't control or something I know I'm not excited about, or I'm like, no, I'm not looking forward to this, I'm not excited.
Yes.
That's when I feel it like in my stomach.
Yeah, but I think what you're missing here is what you just done is shown emotional intelligence. You know you're anxious in this moment.
Yes.
And it feels uncomfortable. But what you've done is you've used cognitive behavioral therapy to change the way you think. You've just said, you know what, I'm going to label this as excitement instead of fear.
Yeah.
And I bet it feels different.
Yeah.
Right? That's emotional intelligence. You became aware of what you were feeling. You knew where you're feeling it in your stomach. You know that you felt it before. You can label it as anxiety, but you can also say, I don't want to label it as anxiety. I'm going to label it as excitement. And it changes. That is emotional intelligence 101 right there. And it's not, this isn't, can I swear?
Yeah.
This isn't fucking rocket science.
Yeah.
I guess
it feels like it. Or like, I still remember the first time. That's what I said. Like, that's where we had to start, was because that was the easiest one for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to shit my pants every time I have to go show a house. This probably isn't normal.
Right.
Like, that's easy. But then you get into you said fear. Where do I feel fear? Probably couldn't tell you right now. I'd have to sit here and like really think about it. And we don't have time for that. So.
That's right. That's right.
But so, yeah, I think for people watching, I think that's a really good, find your easiest one, right? Like,
absolutely. Build on that.
Maybe what's another like really common, easy thing that people feel in their bodies?
Well, fear is a pretty easy one. Anger is a very easy one. And so is shame and guilt. But the problem is, especially with anger is such a volatile energy, because every emotion is there for a reason. And it is a guidepost. It is a signal trying to tell you that you're either in alignment or out of alignment with your true nature. And what do I mean by that? Well, if I am feeling anger, and I'm not paying attention to it, the anger is going to get increasingly probably bigger and bigger and bigger. And what is it trying to tell me? Well, it's probably trying to tell me I need to set a boundary somewhere. It's trying to tell me I need to protect myself.
I need to quit this job.
I need to quit this
I
job,
need to fire
right?
this client.
I need to listen to that. But some people's anger is so intense that they can't have rational thought.
Mm.
And with cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a very widely used therapy, which I use a lot with people, it says that if you change your thought, you can change the way you feel. And if you change the way you feel, you can change the way you behave. That's really hard to do when I'm really angry. I want to fucking change my thought. I can't change my thought. I want to rage.
Or same with depression and anxiety, I think, too.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to get out of those
spirals or shame.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can do is we can change our behavior, which can change our feeling, which can change our thought. And you know this personally.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day and you go to the gym, I bet you feel better when you come back.
Better, yeah.
Right. And I bet when you get home, you're thinking differently because, right. So we can actually change our behavior to change the way we feel, to change the way we think also.
I have been rereading Atomic Habits too.
Love
Have
it.
you read that?
Yep,
yeah. Okay. So I'm at the part now where he's talking about casting a vote for the person you want to be.
Yes.
Which I love. That's exactly what you're saying is change your behavior or cast a vote for the person you want to be.
Yes.
And then in turn, that's going to change the way you think and then the way you feel.
Yes.
Or it's just all connected. Like you change one of those three, right? And then the other two are going to follow.
They can. Yes.
Or possibly.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm saying that probably the easiest thing to do though is change a behavior. And I love what you just said. If you want to become, say, somebody that is, I'm ADHD as hell. I mean, I can be all over the place. And I want to be more structured. Well, I am not going to be able to think my way into being more structured. I can't. My brain's fucked up. I'm not going to be able to be more structured. But what does a structured person do?
And then act like them.
A structured person makes lists. They stick to a schedule. Well, I can do that, right? So they act your way into being the person that you want to be. This is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think it's fantastic. And it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. I think, like you said too, I always think of depression just because, anxiety and depression. I've never really struggled with anger too much in my life, but depression and anxiety are so hard to get yourself out of. And everyone always just says like, oh, go for a walk, take a shower. And you're like, fuck, shut the fuck up, stop talking. Yes. But it's so annoying that it works so well.
It can.
It really does.
It can.
Or it can, yeah.
When you felt depressed, what emotion is typically associated with your depression? I know what mine is.
Emotion? Oh, I don't know. I know symptom. Like symptom is sleepy. I just get very sleepy. But
what's your vocabulary towards yourself when you're depressed? How do you talk to yourself?
Oh man, I really don't.
Okay.
I don't know. It's also been a while, but
good.
I think it also helps because I have like a live-in accountability partner now who notices my patterns more than I do.
Yeah.
Which, thank God for him.
Yeah.
Like anytime I even 2 days into sleepiness, he's like, "Hey, you're sleepy. What's going on?"
Yeah.
So having someone who knows you better than you feel like you know yourself is very special.
That's part of being emotionally intelligent is being able to see other people's patterns.
Yeah.
And not being surprised by it.
Or like you said, they're never going to change. I mean, every relationship is different, but most people aren't going to change who they are fundamentally. So are you going to see their ugliest parts of them and accept that?
Yes.
Because you're not going to change them. So you have to learn to love them exactly the way they are or walk away.
Yes.
And if their ugly isn't that bad for you, then you need to learn to accept it.
Well, I believe love is a verb. And I've got this tattooed on my arm. Love is understanding without judgment. Not mine, comes from kind of Buddhist principles. And I'm not Buddhist, but it does come from that. And it actually comes from other like Christian principles and stuff like that too. But this idea that if I'm going to love you, then I love all of you and you're not perfect. And I have to recognize you're not perfect. So how do I understand you while not judging you? And so how do we do that? Well, my wife, her name is Yana, and she is my best friend. She is my soulmate. I love this woman more than you can imagine. She saved my life and she drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And because of the things that she does, and she doesn't do anything terrible. She's
Yeah.
just a normal human. And some of the things that she does drives me nuts. And I drive her nuts. And we understand that about each other. I know where her nuts comes from.
Mm-hmm.
She knows where mine comes from. And so when she engages in the behaviors that aren't terrible, I mean, maybe she's watching TV longer than I want her to watch TV because
Left the cabinet door open.
right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling left out or I'm feeling ignored, right? Well, the reason that she does those behaviors is because maybe she's self-soothing in those behaviors, or maybe she's just not very mindful about the cabinet door or whatever. If I continue to get upset with her about behaviors that she does over and over and over again, why am I getting so mad at her? I know she's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like touching the hot stove and expecting it not to burn me every time.
Ooh, like my mom.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like my mom or
Yeah.
my dad right now. It's just like, I know he's going to behave that way. Why would I get surprised by him?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know how we got on this, but that's again, being emotionally intelligent, being able to understand people's behaviors.
Yeah. I think if anything, like, which do you think would be more impactful for someone to be emotionally intelligent of their own behaviors or someone else's?
Their own first. Absolutely their own. We are emotional creatures and we connect with each other emotionally. I am not in love with my wife because of how smart she is, and she's very smart. I connect with her because of the energy between us, that emotional energy between us. And we project our own emotional energy onto our relationships. So if we are not healthy internally, emotionally, we're going to project that on other people.
Well, and that goes for your romantic relationships, but also your work relationships.
Business relationships,
Yeah.
relationships with the guy at Circle K giving you your
Yeah.
change back,
Yeah.
everything.
And which is why, too, I think some people are just so angry all the time, but it's so funny that they don't see that, like, well, you addressed that person at Circle K first with a shitty attitude.
Yes.
Of course you're going to get a shitty attitude back. Like,
Yes.
yeah, that's really interesting.
If let's play with this for a second. If I have a negative belief about myself that I am unattractive, okay? And I go into Circle K and I drop down my soda I'm going to pay for and my money. And then the person looks at me and maybe I notice that they roll their eyes a little bit. I'm filtering the fact that I feel like I'm unattractive. I'm filtering their behavior through that core belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reacting based on that core belief of I'm unattractive. And then I look at them and I say, what was that for? I then trigger in them their negative belief about self that
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're thinking they're incompetent.
Yeah.
And now they're spiraling of, well, he thinks I'm incompetent. And then he or she snaps back at me. And then all of a sudden, her or him and I are in a fight over my perception of he rolling his eyes. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So my negative core beliefs can influence my behaviors, which can then influence their negative core beliefs and their behaviors, when really maybe that person just had something in their eye.
Yeah. But then all of that started just
Spiraled.
There's one other self-help book that I read that talks about the reticular activation system.
Mhm.
I might be butchering that. Basically, you buy a red car, now you see a red car everywhere.
Yes.
So many people don't realize that that's exactly what's happening. It's like that red car theory.
Yes.
But like you said, I think I'm ugly or
Mhm.
whatever it is. And I think it's so fun to like be delusional. Like, or like I try to practice it or I want to be better at it just to say like, okay, what negative core belief do I have? Let's use the ugly one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now let's flip it and say like, let's be delusional. Let's say oh God, I don't know. What are just any supermodel? Okay. Let's say I believe I am a supermodel.
Okay.
And then I post a video on TikTok and I get 500 comments that are saying whatever, right?
Yes.
You can either, like you said, I think I'm ugly, filter those comments of like, even though they're complimenting me, they're making fun of me.
Yes.
And that compliment was backhanded and they're actually everyone's in on the joke and I'm not.
Yes.
Or I could filter it through the I am so hot. Those comments were all like, of course I am. Of course I'm getting 500 comments of, you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like,
The world will reflect your core beliefs,
which is crazy.
which
Like
is
it
crazy.
makes me really start to think of like Truman Show aspect, or like if you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, you build your own reality. And then you start talking about the particle experiment
Yes.
where, you know, like the observation of whatever, I am
Yep.
going to butcher that
It's
whole thing too,
quantum
but
physics.
yeah,
Yep.
again, choosing your own reality based on observation. Like, oh, it's
Yes.
so crazy to me.
Yes. And our relationships do that too. Your
Mm-hmm.
partner reflects back to you
Yeah.
your reality.
Yeah. You get in what I say with a lot of things too. You get in what you put out.
Absolutely.
But it's just more evidence of that too.
Absolutely.
And I say this to every single person. You made a comment. I was like, you should do referral fees. And you said, you can't do that in the therapy world. It'd be
Yes.
great if you could. And if you could do referral fees, you would make so much money off of me, which I think is so
Yes, I
funny
would.
because I tell everyone they need to go to therapy all the time. The biggest feedback I get is like, oh, yeah, I just can't afford it right now. And I'm like, I loaded up my credit card when I
Yeah.
went to see you and I got that money back tenfold
Yes.
because you helped me, exactly like we were just talking about, reframe my core beliefs about money, about myself, about confidence. And it all comes back to like, or angry. I was angry at work all the time because I didn't know how to set boundaries. And again, that just came back of like, okay, now I find more joy in my work. I find more purpose. I make more money. Like, everyone should go to therapy. That's, I'll say it
Well,
until the day I die.
I wish I was in a position where I could just give my services away for free. And actually, that's my ultimate goal is to, you know, to be able to speak, you know, on a much bigger stage, to get paid to speak, to get, you know, paid to write, and then take what I've learned and just give it away
Yeah.
because we need this.
Oh,
We
yeah.
just need it.
I mean, especially the state of the world
Absolutely.
as it is right now.
And
But
it doesn't. I'm not perfect at emotional intelligence, even though I teach it.
well, like you said, it's only 30 years old.
Yes, it's just not that old. You're not perfect at it, but you're better than you were.
Yeah.
Right. And that just keeps better and better and better. My daughter, the other day, she's watching some of my social media, and she got really pissed at me. She goes, you know, you talk about all of these things that you're supposed to do with emotional intelligence, and you come off like you do this perfectly all the time, and you are so not perfect, yet you teach it. Why is that? Right?
It's
Why
like
is
the
that?
overweight gym teacher.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't do, you teach.
Yeah. And I said, well, she's a cheerleader and she's a captain of her cheer team. And I said, do you teach the freshmen and the sophomores how to do a correct stunt? And she goes, yeah. I said, do you do them perfectly every time? She goes,
Well,
no, fuck you. Walks away.
yeah. Yeah. And then you said, well, actually,
It's-
this is a
that's-
great example of emotional intelligence.
Yes, that's the thing is just you practice, right?
Yeah.
We go back to self-awareness. I fell short that time. How can I do it differently?
Mhm.
I fell short that time. How can I do it differently? No different than going to the gym. Some days I go to the gym and I can lift really heavy, and other days I can't, but I keep going to the gym.
And what's probably so exciting for you, like you said, the art of studying emotional intelligence is only 30 years old, give or take, whatever.
Yes.
Your kids are learning from you great emotional intelligence skills. Now think about their kids.
Yes.
And then their kids.
It's observation.
Your kids are probably as much as, well, they're teenagers, some of them.
One of them. The
One
other
of
two
them.
are 30 and 26.
Okay.
They're adults. Yeah.
So they're past the I hate my parents stage. but
Yes.
like,
Yes.
yeah, just, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Very not jealous. Like I had to love my parents, but they have a very special environment for sure. Having you and your wife as parents.
My oldest boys watched their mother and I tear each other apart, and I'll take 55% of the blame on that. I was active alcoholic, and her and I, when we got divorced, were not emotionally intelligent at all. And then they watched us change. They watched us evolve. They watched us become more emotionally intelligent.
How old were they at this point?
When we divorced, my oldest boy Parker was I want to say, well, what was that? He was adolescent, maybe,
Okay, so old
yeah,
enough to like
yeah, I
understand
think he
and
was
yeah.
10,
Oh, okay.
10 or 11. And our youngest boy, Peyton, was like 5 or 6.
Oh wow.
And,
Okay.
and Peyton is very, very emotionally intelligent. And Parker is very emotionally intelligent, right? They both have high levels of that, but they watched us
Hmm.
and they watched what not to do. They also both have done their own therapy in their own way, especially my middle child, Peyton. He's done a ton of therapy. Um, and they, they've evolved because their parents evolved.
Hmm.
And I think if you can show that you're capable of changing, that's one of the greatest gifts we can give our kids. If we can show our children, I am not perfect, I fucked up, I am going to change. And then we do that, and not drastically. You don't have to make a 180-degree change. You can make a few degree change. That over time builds. And when your kids see that, they know they don't have to be perfect and they know they're capable of change. But when parents just say, nope, I am the way I am and I'm never going to change, I'm too old to change, that tells your children, you're screwed. This is
Yeah.
the hand you were dealt.
Well,
You're going
it's
to
a
have to deal
very
with it.
what is it? Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Student mindset versus victim mindset
Or
is what
yeah,
I
that's
like
how
to
you
say,
yeah.
right? You're going to be a student of your life and eventually, teach what you've learned, or you're going to be a victim of your life and eventually perpetrate on self or others.
Hmm.
That's one
I
of two
think
things you can do.
I'm seeing so many examples of like the boomer parent um
Mm.
discourse, I'll say, where there's an example of a, a son and a daughter who have a podcast with their parents. And they go, it's very entertaining because it's like some of the things their parents say, you're just like, oh my gosh. Brother asks sister, what is one thing you would have changed about our upbringing? Sister says, oh, it would have been nice to like not been hit with a belt. That's
Yeah.
all she said.
Yeah.
And then the parents just like no acceptance or personal accountability, immediately flip it back to like, well, did you ever go out without financially or
Yeah.
things like that where you can't even accept that you've harmed your own child without
Yeah.
again accepting any accountability, taking responsibility, apologizing, even just immediately projecting it back onto them with anger and denial, has got to be so damaging. And I just think that that's probably what happened to the majority of humans for the longest time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool to see in a couple 100 years this ripple effect of emotional intelligence. And I know gentle parenting probably has its people on both sides that think it's effective or not effective or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm sure that abuse versus non-abuse is going to be really impactful in the way that children are
Absolutely.
raised and then the way they raise their kids and so on and so on. So
Absolutely. In the world of counseling, in the world of therapy, we say that abuse is anything less than nurturing to the development of your emotional, life. Anything less than nurturing. So abuse is a very big spectrum.
yeah.
On one side of that spectrum is the parents that beat the hell out of their kids and do the worst thing possible to their kids. And on the other side are the parents that don't have any accountability for the children, let them do whatever they want and kind of run the show. Both of those are equally abusive to their development. In the middle is the sweet spot. The baby boomers were raised by a very tough generation, and they were raised by this generation of because I said so. You don't contradict me. You don't question me. You put in the hard work and you get the result.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the baby boomers lived that way, and they were first they were hippies, they had their voice, but then they were yuppies. And then they started making a bunch of money, but they lived with this mentality of you don't contradict me. You don't question me. I'm the adult. And that's how I was raised by at least two of the four parents that raised me, where you don't contradict me. It is what it is because I said so. And they did that because that's what they were taught.
Yeah.
But it's bullshit because parents are wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, I kind of learned that my voice didn't matter. And I'm not blaming my parents. My parents were wonderful people. But one of the things I did learn was that your voice doesn't matter. You are not to be heard. You're just to do what we tell you to do. And I was told that, if I felt sad, don't feel sad. If I felt afraid, don't feel afraid. It wasn't, hey, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay to feel happy. That was okay. And that was a direct result of them not being able to manage my uncomfortable emotion within themselves, right? Because
they also weren't.
they weren't capable of doing that because they weren't allowed to do that. So they were uncomfortable with me being uncomfortable. And the easiest thing for them to do was for them to say, you don't feel uncomfortable. That way I don't have to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And emotional intelligence is to be able to sit here and say, you feel uncomfortable? That's okay. Go ahead. It won't affect me.
Yeah. Well, it won't affect me. And then also teaching them how to work through those
Absolutely
big emotions.
But they didn't have that skill.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody taught them that.
No. And I do fear, while there are people like you who are really emotionally intelligent, teaching emotional intelligence and so on, you also have the other side of the spectrum of people who are doing the same thing, but it's in the form of just giving them an iPad.
Yeah, which is terrible.
Like even more devastating to their brain, because you're just like, I know how cooked my brain feels after 30 minutes on TikTok, an hour on TikTok.
Yes.
And then you look at Coco Melon and like what the actual science behind it, and it's really scary to a developing brain too. It's like,
yes.
But it's easy for me to judge because I don't have kids.
Well,
or not judging, but observing.
Listen, I have judged too, and I've got 4 siblings that are at least 10 years, if not 15 years younger than me. And my children didn't have that technology when they were kids. And I'm probably pretty certain had I had that technology as a young 24-year-old father, I would have used it to watch the kids.
I have a puppy, and if I could give my dog an iPad,
yes,
I would probably do that. Luckily, he's good with like liver in a Kong, but yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sure there's days where I cannot imagine working like an 8-hour shift and then going home to children. I would be like, iPad, please, quiet.
And that's what we do. Unfortunately, it's terribly detrimental.
Yeah.
It's detrimental to the relationship between the child and the parent. And it's detrimental to their brain developing. And that's why we're seeing so many kids that are just have a hard time sitting still.
And like literacy crisis.
Yeah,
too,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm with my nieces and nephews and I love them dearly, but man, they have so much energy that they need to get out. And part of the reason that they're not getting out is because they're being activated just by the screen. And, I'm a Gen Xer. And when we were kids, it was like on Saturday, get out of the house after breakfast and come home for lunch and then get out until dinner.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, now there's...
Yeah.
The world's different. Too. Yeah.
And I wonder... And I think there's a lot of debate on this. I wonder if that was always going on, the scary stuff. We just didn't see it.
Yeah. It wasn't reported to
now,
your phone.
Yeah. Now I get to see the argument that my next door neighbor's having online. I mean, I can do any of that. So I don't know how different it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I'm not sure.
Interesting. That would be really interesting to study too. Yeah. Can you tell me why people judge themselves or why they judge other people?
If we look at ourselves first as animals, as sentient beings that have evolved over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, judgment is the ability to discern between safe and unsafe, between is that going to kill me or am I going to be safe in that thing's presence. It discern whether that berry bush is good berries or poisonous berries, whether that cat is a kitty cat or a saber-toothed tiger, right? We need it to survive. So that's the main reason we judge, to stay safe. Now, judgment comes from our, thinking brain, our logical brain, our prefrontal cortex, but it's activated by our internal brain, our limbic system.
Our lizard brain.
Our lizard brain. Well, actually, our lizard brain is, if you look at the brain, and this is from the triune brain theory by a gentleman by the name of Paul MacLean. I think, in the 60s. He talks about the brain, if you believe in evolution, the brain developing over millions of years in three separate stages. And I'll use my hand as a representation. My wrist would represent the brain stem, which is the lizard brain.
Oh, that's connected to your spine?
Yeah, and that's deals with heartbeat, blood pressure,
Breathing.
breathing, stuff
Okay.
like that. And
Oh, okay.
every animal has a brain stem.
Okay.
Internally is the mammalian brain, the limbic system, the emotional brain, the fight, flight, freeze response, our survival brain.
Okay. So the next step up of like intelligence,
Yes,
essentially.
yes. And then the next step is our cortex, our thinking brain, our logical brain. So humans have the biggest cortex out of any animal on the planet. Now, the emotional brain actually reacts 25 times faster than the thinking brain. Meaning, if there was a hissing underneath your seat right now, you would instinctually jump up on your seat before your logical brain kicked in to see if it was a snake or not, right? So when we look at judgment, we're using our logical brain to make a determination, but we're fighting the instinctual reactions of our emotional brain first. And the limbic system, the emotional brain, does not know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a passive-aggressive email,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to
Because it creates the same.
same sensation,
Yeah.
right? And we have to be able to discern that. But also the emotions come faster than the thinking. So we make a judgment in that time. And the judgment is based on our survival more than anything. Now, we have to be able, in emotionally intelligent humans, we have to be able to be curious about why am I making a judgment? Start to actually, again, look at ourselves from a third person perspective and become aware of what is really happening. And so the curiosity can help tamper down the judgment, but we all judge. Now, we judge ourselves in relation to the world around us.
Mm.
Am I safe in this Am I safe in this environment? Growing up in Scottsdale, it was different in the 90s than probably it is now, but it was a pretty judgy place. Is it still a pretty judgy place?
Oh, yeah. So it has a horrible reputation online too, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
Because like valid. So when you say judgment, are you talking more about, you're talking about judgment between safety and non-safety? Are you also talking about, like you said, judgment about looks and the way people are and stuff like that?
Yes.
You're kind of classifying
Yeah.
between obviously life and death and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, weird and not weird, or
Social status.
yeah.
Right? People are going to look at you and judge you and be like, oh, she's got long hair, long black hair. She's physically fit. She thinks she's better than me.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Which again goes back to your own preconceived
Yeah.
core belief.
Core belief of I'm not good looking enough. Oh, she thinks she's better than me.
Yeah.
She's not safe for me to
So
be
that's
around.
where the whole root of the judgment comes
Yes.
from. Is that
She's
safety,
not a
that
safe person.
the mammalian brain.
Yes.
Safety.
Yes.
Okay.
I just like to call it the emotional brain, trying to keep me safe, right? I have to feel, if I judge myself as being better than, that I'm safe. If I judge myself as being less than, then I'm not. If I feel like you think you're better than me, I'm not safe. So maybe I have to go one up
Yeah.
to make myself feel safe.
Where does projection kind of fit into that? What is coming into play when I say, like, when I actually do feel threatened by someone and I actually do acknowledge that, like, okay, maybe she is prettier and stronger or whatever those issues I'm facing, what's coming into play there? Or does that even happen for everyone? Is that just an internal insecurity, or does everyone, or do most people do that where they subconsciously pick apart someone so that they feel better then?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things you're saying there. When we talk about projection,
Yeah, I guess that was not the right word because that's a
Yeah.
whole different.
yeah. So can I answer? Let me
Yeah.
talk about projection first. Projection is a way that the subconscious mind disguises our maladaptive behaviors so we continue to do them because they're self-serving. If I'm always late to something, but I don't want to really acknowledge that I'm always late to something. I will point it out to other people that are late. You're
Mhm.
always late. Why
Yeah.
are you always late? It's a way that my subconscious just protects myself from some maladaptive behaviors that I do.
Yeah.
And we can all project,
Yeah, you taught me this one really
right?
because I had someone who was irritating the shit out of me all the time, and you're like, "Well, what is she doing?" Exactly, because you're it sounds like you're projecting a little bit
Yeah,
onto
like,
her.
are you doing that behavior?
Yeah.
So we can become aware.
Or you said too, do you pride yourself in not doing that behavior?
We can do that too, right? And so you go one up.
So
But
that's exactly what that is then. Okay.
yes, a lot of times though, projection is more about we actually do it ourselves,
Mhm.
or we project that again. I don't think I'm good enough. Oh, you don't think I'm good enough. I'm going to project that feeling onto you.
Gotcha.
But you were also talking about the acceptance of, oh, she is
Feeling
stronger
lesser
than me,
than yeah.
right? That's very emotionally intelligent. Oh, she
Oh.
is stronger than me. And that does feel not good. But what do you do with that information? Are you curious about where that comes from?
Mm.
Or are you going to judge yourself for having that thought?
Personally, what I try to do in situations like that, um, when I do feel those thoughts, I always try to say like, "Oh, she's stronger than me, but that's okay. I'm
Yes.
strong too,
Yes.
or I have other talents." It's like
Yes.
the verbal
Yes.
correction that I do. But I'm trying to think, yeah, I think that there is that too. Like, why am I the internal judgment of like, why am I even concerned about that in the first place? Like, you're here to work on yourself
And I
for
think
one,
if
but
you're curious about it, that's healthy. But if you say, let's say you and I are working together, you're a client of mine, and we are doing work on your positive self talk and just paying attention to your negative self talk. And you find yourself one day just beating the hell out of yourself emotionally and saying, oh, I'm not good enough and I'm not attractive enough and I'm not strong enough. And you notice you're doing it. And then you say, oh, I'm doing that again. I'm talking that down to myself. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this to myself?
mm,
You're judging the judgment,
just a double.
shame spiral from
Yeah.
hell. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Right. I even work with people that struggle with addiction. And if they say, hey, I drank beer last night, and then I started judging myself for drinking beer, I'm like, well, at least get rid of the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
At least get rid of the shame.
Because
Right.
then you're going to drink the shame away.
You're
If
going
that's
to,
your coping
yes,
mechanism.
shame is the fuel for addiction. Shame is the fuel for depression. And a lot of times, shame is the fuel for anxiety. So if we can cut out the shame part, we're going to decrease the amount of fuel that our addiction has. I used to drink my shame away, and then it would just come back tenfold. But my addiction used that to continue to drink.
Mm-hmm. I guess it really is just all how you interpret or decide to feel about those feelings, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, I'm feeling jealousy. Why don't I use that as motivation rather than tearing her apart or tearing myself apart?
Yes. Curiosity. How would I put this? When we're looking at your interaction with yourself and your interaction with your emotions, there are so many things that go into that formula of why you feel the way you feel. And you can either judge it and then it's going to continue to control you, or you can be curious about it and not take it so seriously, right? Oh, I'm having that thought that that girl over there is better fit than I am and is more attractive than I am. Isn't that interesting that I'm having that thought again? What triggered that thought? Huh. Let me kind of just sit with that for a minute. What does it feel like? Well, I feel kind of angry. Who am I angry with? I'm angry with her. Why? Because she made me feel this way.
Mm.
Oh, did she make you feel that way? Or did your thoughts make you feel that way? Well, my thoughts made me feel that way. Wow, I'm actually the one controlling how I feel, not her. That's what curiosity does.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, this girl's just at the gym. She's not even concerned about you.
Well,
Yeah.
she's worried about her.
Or, yeah,
Looking over at
yeah.
you going, oh, look at her.
Yeah, exactly.
She's stronger than I am. Boy,
Mhm.
what a failure I am.
Yeah.
Right? We all do that. We all judge ourselves based in relation. Well, maybe not all of us, but I think most of us do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a positive
Well,
or a negative
I mean,
judgment.
really, doesn't that come into play with like a mental disorder if you aren't? Which
Yeah,
to a
social
degree,
has.
like, I think that is just a very human feeling is like, or at least I like to think like jealousy is a very human emotion. And if
Yes.
you don't feel that, there's probably something a little wrong with
Yeah,
you.
I think we all
Because then
have
you
some
think you're
form
better
of
than everyone
jealousy.
else if you're not jealous of anyone.
Yes.
And there's a difference between confidence and, um, I guess, arrogance,
I
like,
agree. I agree.
I guess it really is just about how you look at it. So you could see someone feel jealous of what they have and then reaffirm yourself that, oh, that was a jealous thought, but
Yeah.
I'm confident in what I have and who I am. And
Yeah, I think confidence is just, I don't need to tell you I'm confident.
yeah, but telling yourself
Yeah,
maybe.
I can tell
Yeah.
myself that I'm confident, or confidence is I'm fearful and I'm going to also get through it.
Mm,
Confidence is the knowing that I've been here before and I've gone through something similar and I've come out the other side wiser, more emotionally mature, different. It's changed me and I'm confident I can do that again. Arrogance is look at how great I am doing this thing,
right.
right? Arrogance is not about learning any lesson. It's about putting yourself again above people so they judge you differently.
We're talking about social media and loneliness, why being connected has never felt more isolating.
Yeah.
It gives you that false sense of connection, like, oh, I do have a community, but it's not real. It's not.
Mm-mm.
And again, everything for the most part that people are putting online isn't a true reflection of themselves.
Yeah, and it's not a connection.
Yeah.
It's an observation.
Ooh. Yeah.
We're just observing people. We're not connecting with people. You and I are connecting right now because we're in each other's physical presence. Our energy is interacting with one another, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, positive or negative,
Yeah.
isn't the point right now. It's that we are in each other's energy.
Yeah.
Online, if I watch you through a video, I'm just observing you. I'm not connecting with you. Now, we can connect a little bit like via Zoom or via, Facebook Messenger or something like that, but it's not as authentic as just being in one another's presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe social media, I believe there's some good there, and I believe there's exponentially more bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it has completely disconnected us. I also believe it's given everybody the ability to give everybody else their opinion.
Which is
Terrible.
awful.
I should not have a platform where I can give everybody my opinion, and I have
Well,
one.
I think you should. But
No, my opinion isn't great. I mean, listen, my political opinions are different for half the population, probably.
yeah.
Actually,
Well, yeah. That's
probably
how
actually-
everyone's is for the most part.
yeah. I mean, so I don't know if I should be able. I don't know if I should be able to give everybody my opinion, but we all have that. And so, back in the '80s, I had my opinion, and I told 2 or 3 people.
Well, your opinion, I don't know about, I can speak for myself when I say my opinion is heavily influenced by what I read
Yes.
because of other people's. Like, as much as you want to say, I make my own opinions and I thought this thought originally myself, like, the more takes I see on someone agreeing on a certain topic, the more likely I am to agree with that take.
Yes. And social media is just going to like inundate you with your opinion.
Right.
It's going to
Yeah.
just validate it over and over and over again. And that's what humans want. When I'm doing couples therapy and they are arguing over whatever they're arguing about, I tell them, do you want to be right or do you just want to be validated? Do you want your partner to agree with you or do you just want them to say, I can understand why you see it that way? And when they think about it, they're like, I don't really care about being right. I just want you to validate that my opinion has merit, that my perception is an okay perception. We want people to say that thought is sane.
Yeah.
That's all we really want. And social media just validates us.
Yeah.
Chat GPT
Oh my
validates
God. It's
us.
so bad. Someone dead ass said to me, oh, I don't need to go, because I tell you, I tell everyone to go to therapy. I'm like, you're really fucked up. Like, you really need to go.
Yeah.
And this guy goes like, we were talking about someone who, co-parenting situation. I was like, wow, that sounds really messy. Like, is he seeing someone? Like, is he talking to someone about that? And he's like, well, he talks to ChatGPT.
No, that's
and
a good
like,
idea.
It's actually even better because you can just upload all their text right to ChatGPT and it gives them. I was like, oh
No.
my God.
I asked ChatGPT the other day, hey, I'm getting ready to get on an airplane. I was thinking about dressing up like little orphan Annie and wearing a little tutu and putting on some makeup and singing as I walked onto the plane.
Can I guess what it said?
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, that sounds like a great idea.
Play with it. Enjoy it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, have at it, girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea
Yeah.
to do. But so it will validate most things I say. Oh, what a fantastic idea. Now, it is getting better. I think they've made some corrections.
They had to, because people were like
People doing some
going
weird
into
stuff.
psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to, ask it, hey, I'm feeling anxious. Do you have any breathing techniques that work?
Yeah.
Great. It's got some fantastic breathing techniques that'll work. But when it gets down to my trauma and how I interact with the
who's
world,
right in this situation?
terrible.
Or yeah.
Very destructive.
Yeah.
Very destructive.
Yeah.
And I think that's what social media does, is it just kind of parrots back what we want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives...
Well, it's, 100%.
Right.
But putting a twist on that, it's also designed to like rage bait you. That's the most common way to go viral on TikTok, is to rage bait people.
Which is terrible.
It's awful. And then you combine those two things together. How can we piss off the general population, plus show them only things that they want to see?
The worst part about it is people, including shareholders, are profiting from that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
profiting off of your just anger.
It makes no sense to me.
Is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's fun too is like being a social media manager is I learn so much about people by logging into their account, scrolling through their Reels feed, looking at your Explore page. I don't know that all my clients know that I can see that. So maybe I shouldn't say that, but and it's also crazy how quickly I can change it for them, which goes into like an ethical study there, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it even ethical for me to be manipulating their algorithms?
That's kind of interesting.
Isn't that
That's
really
an interesting
like,
topic.
I can change the way you think based on, and I'm not saying that I do that.
No, but
it would be really easy for me to change someone's opinion just by messing around in their account and searching certain things.
I did a TEDx talk recently, and when I started developing my speech, I started asking ChatGPT for information. And ChatGPT was helping me write this speech, and I literally felt my brain atrophying.
Mm-hmm.
I literally felt myself getting dumber about this topic that I know so much about. And I was like, the hell with this. I scrapped everything. I said, I'm not using this. And I wrote my speech. And then I went back and said, hey, chat, does this make sense? Is it uniform? Is it following this kind of path that I want it to follow?
Or is it grammatically correct?
Is it grammatically correct, right? Does this sound conversational?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to use it in that aspect. But when you're asking a computer to think for you, you are going to become very stupid very quickly, because your brain's just going to atrophy.
And we are people with fully developed brains. Think about 15-year-olds using this.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But it's also not going away.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a major dilemma of how do we, and I don't, my wife and I aren't great with this with our daughter, Paulina. She has access to her phone. She has access to whatever she wants to view. We are hoping that the morals and the ethics that we have instilled in her, that she's going to view the correct stuff. But she's the one that told me that Charlie Kirk got shot because she saw him get murdered on the internet.
Insane video. And it's just on the internet for anyone to see. No.
And I think the social media people should be held accountable for that.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think they should. I think
you would hope,
not for the murder, of course, but for the ability to let kids see it.
Just not even. I didn't even have to search for it.
No, it just popped
came up. No warning, and that is the most graphic video. I know that there's so much worse out there. Again, like images coming out of Palestine are also.
But you should have to search it.
You should have to, or it should come with a warning. Like I've seen the most disturbing things without even having, again, from either the Charlie Kirk murder or out of Palestine, like
Yes.
just like purely traumatizing to see
Yeah.
that. Like I can still see all of it in the front of my
Yeah.
mind if I picture it.
Yeah. We're all being traumatized
Yeah.
by it.
Oh, you said something so good. You said something like we're all going through like kind of mass trauma right now,
Yes.
and no one's going to be able to process it until it's over. I think let's pretend we had a breather after COVID, but like kind of similar to that situation where holy shit, we all just went through that and now we're going back to life as normal and no one's like there was no collective anything to like acknowledge that that was the craziest fucking thing that just
Yes.
happened. We just all right, back to
Back to
office.
normal. Let's
That
just keep
I'm still
going.
not over that or that it was 5 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. We all went through a mass trauma with COVID. We were all in survival mode. Uh, Many of us are still in survival mode. And when we're in survival mode, we don't self-actualize. We don't, it's really hard to be mindful and conscious when you're just trying to survive. And that's the most important time to be able to do it. But our nervous system takes over and we kind of go into our automatic responses. So once we get out of survival mode, and we saw this in the therapeutic community, we started seeing much more clients than during COVID. Because again, you're just not going to, hey, what am I going through? No, what did I just go through?
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of what we do as humans. And the majority of people on the planet haven't done any therapy around what they went through during COVID, and they are acting accordingly. And I think it is direct result of how crazy the world is today is because of
Interesting.
COVID.
Because we didn't have that breather. We didn't
We didn't have
have
a breather. Nobody's going back and saying, how did it really impact me? We just
Yeah.
kind of, okay, one day
back to capitalism.
Yeah.
Back to maximizing shareholder value.
yeah, and just one day I'm thinking that my broccoli is going to kill me.
Yeah.
And then the
yeah.
next day I'm just like, okay, time to start consuming more crap again.
And that's even like to say, obviously, there are people who had a way rougher time. Like, I'm
Yes.
thinking like people with the financial means to be fine to not work or whatever, that's still traumatic to you because your entire lifestyle has changed. Whether I'm sure that they had a much more enjoyable time, that's not to say that one's person trauma is worse than another's or that it
Yeah.
can't look different for everyone. It's still something they need to process too, even if you thought you had a great time and COVID
Absolutely.
was a fun little break. Like,
Well, it was hard on us. And, I have a house with a pool and my
Yeah.
kids were there.
yeah,
There was a part of us where like, you're kind of on a little mini vacation. I think about the guy that's in government housing,
hmm
29 stories up in downtown, Detroit that can't get out of his 200 square foot apartment.
yeah,
And just drinking and the whole time and on the internet the whole time. I mean, that has a lasting impression.
hmm
And then you get out and the world is on fire still.
which is probably, I would imagine, why. I mean, not the sole reason, but it sure didn't help with like radicalizing people
No,
in
not at
both
all.
directions.
Absolutely.
It's like you
Absolutely.
said, it's just everyone locked up sitting on their phone with these fucking devices that are designed to hack your brain, producing dopamine,
Yes.
divide us because that's what gets more likes, views, clicks, shares, and to make you feel like less than.
Yes.
Because everyone who's posting on social media is doing, not everyone, but most people posting on social media are doing so to validate themselves, which in turn is going to make other people feel less than.
And it takes you away from what you're feeling in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any social media before I started posting my own stuff on social media. And now I can find myself like just, as you used to call it, doom scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hard to get out of. Like I'll tell myself, I have got to put this down.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes later, I'm still looking for something that I want to see.
We talked about how they know that the rage is what's going to keep you most
Activated.
involved,
Yeah.
active, but
Mhm.
then also the fact that they do the whole slot machine style with your feed. Like you'll get, okay, ad, boring video. Okay, shit, that one made me laugh out loud. That's that dopamine
Yep.
burst, whatever,
Yep.
that I needed. And then, okay, now I want another one, but I have to scroll 6 or 7 times to get that from my next video.
Yes.
Or sometimes it's not even like, I have had days on TikTok where I'm like borderline crying And then the next one, I'm like laughing out loud and I'm like, oh, there's no shot this is good for me. No way. No
Yes.
way your brain is supposed to do a 180 like that so fast. Or like, no way I'm supposed to see this man die. And then 3 seconds later, I'm laughing at something funny, completely unrelated.
Yeah.
That's awful for my brain. I'm not even an expert and I know that it is.
Novelty. Something new coming in all the time. Your brain just gets more and more. There's something new. So you'll have something that's sad, something that's funny, something that's terrifying, something that's depressing. Brain is always reacting. And that's what just keeps you going.
Which is why they mix it up, because it's
Yes.
novelty. If I was
Yes.
only watching funny stuff.
Yes.
Oh, this is a good question for you. Mental health professionals on social media, the rise of therapy influencers and whether short form advice helps or harms. What's your opinion on that?
Well, given that I'm in that industry and I'm putting content out there, I think it can help. And I think that depends on who's consuming it
Or who's creating it.
or who's creating it.
And I would say what their intention behind the creation is.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It's a tricky, the social media is tricky because it's, they're going to view it through how the lens that they're in that moment. So again, you and I are having a conversation. If I feel like you are misunderstanding what I'm saying, I can read your body language. You can kind of look at me differently. Oh, that doesn't make sense, or I don't like what you just said. And I can pivot and I can say, wait a minute, hold on. I think you might be misunderstanding that this is what I'm trying to say. And you're like, oh, that makes better sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. It's one video. And
it's a one-way street.
It's a one-way street. And so the way I'm saying it, they're going to interpret it exactly how they're going to interpret it. And then I'll get people, I'll say something about how to be kind to your dying grandmother, and somebody will send back some awful, terrible comment about what a terrible human I am because their grandmother was abusive to them.
Or what about my grandfather?
Yeah. What about,
It's called the bean soup theory. Is like
what
they're calling it, is because what's happening, this like trend on social media of, I guess you would probably call it like a lack of self-awareness.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, here's a recipe for bean soup, but what if I don't like beans? Then don't fucking make the recipe. Like,
yeah, but then
leave it.
But they're pissed off that you're not talking about them.
Yeah. Well, which is so strange.
Why aren't you talking about me? Why am I not inclusive?
Yeah.
I get people that say, well, you're not talking about people that struggle with X, Y, and Z. I'm like, that's not what this video is about.
Yeah.
But they're pissed that I'm not talking about that,
Yeah.
right? Why aren't I speaking on their behalf?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important that content gets out there, but I also really believe that the people, the clinicians that are putting it out there have to be very, very mindful that no matter what you put out, somebody is going to get pissed off.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Again, I'd get rid of social media if we could. I would, but I have to use it to promote my business. I truly believe in that. Again, that's what my TEDx talk was about, was that world peace is not a political process. It's a personal one, meaning that the only way that the world is going to become a peaceful planet is for the humans that occupy it have to become peaceful first. And with the byproduct of emotional intelligence is understanding self, and the byproduct of an understanding is peace.
And understanding others, like you said too.
Yes.
Judgment dissipates when you're curious.
Yes.
A lot of people are not curious about why others are different from them. They just go straight to that us versus them, which again, that's innate in humans. That's what kept us alive for so long, but that's not functional anymore.
No, it's not. And again, big takeaway is understanding. The byproduct of understanding is peace. Understanding how a light bulb works, how to change a light bulb, you're going to have more peace, right? Understanding how your partner works, you're going to have more peace. It's all about understanding. It's all about awareness. It's all about mindfulness. The question was how do you know when you're dysregulated? How do you know when you are, say, struggling emotionally and you don't even realize you're struggling emotionally? And I want to use a little bit of an anecdotal kind of example here. If I start engaging in a lot of negative self-talk, where I go back to my old negative core beliefs of I'm incompetent, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I don't measure up to others, and that starts becoming a theme on a daily basis. That's a really good indicator that I'm dysregulated. If I find myself worrying about my health a lot because I have health anxiety, if I start wondering, oh, what's that pain in my back, even though I went to the gym and I probably just tore a muscle in my back, oh, is it cancer or am I going to have a heart attack soon? That is a good indicator that I am dysregulated. And when I say dysregulated, I mean that I'm burnt out.
Are there ways to tell within your body, like like certain body cues that you should pay attention
Yeah, if
to?
my heart's racing all the time, if I'm finding myself having GI symptoms all the time, whether I'm constipated or I'm having diarrhea or I'm having stomach upset, that's a good indicator because, again, emotions are energy in the body, and your body is going to respond to those emotions. And you can find that I grind my teeth or
Ooh,
clench
yeah.
my jaw, right? If I'm noticing I'm getting more tension headaches, what's going on? There's something that I am not grounded in. And it usually has to do with burnout more than anything with people. When I see people start having, hey, Sean, that old problem where I started worrying about what my wife was thinking about me. That's back again. Where did that come from? I thought we already worked on that, right? Well, you're probably burnt out, and that's how your anxiety is manifesting in this moment. Your system is just taxed. It's overly taxed, and we need to bring it back down. How do we do that? We get back to basics. What are the basic skills that we use for emotional regulation? Movement. Movement is the best way to regulate yourself emotionally. Why? Again, emotions are energy in the body. And if you're emotionally dysregulated, your body's fucked up. It's just plain and simple. Whether you're depressed or anxious or angry or fearful, there's something going on in your body that needs to be addressed. In movement, by far, the easiest thing to do is walk 2 miles.
That's a lot.
It is. It's about 40 minutes,
Oh, wow.
right?
I don't think I
Or
have not walked that long.
maybe walk 1 mile, about
Yeah.
20 minutes. But 4 miles or 2 miles is not hard. Walk and think about what you're feeling.
So no music?
No music. Just walk and think about what you're feeling. Walk and have a conversation with the person that's not even there that you're pissed off at. I'll walk around my neighborhood and be like, Matt, motherfucker. And I look like a crazy guy. But at the end of that 2 mile walk, I feel better.
Can you talk about why walking's so powerful with the
Yeah,
bilateral?
walking is there's a therapy called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And my way of explaining it, which is not the scientific nerdy way to explain it, it's bilateral stimulation, meaning it activates both sides, both hemispheres of the brain at the same time to help you process negative events, traumatic events from the past. And it's a lot more nuanced than that, but that's the overall general concept of it. And walking does the same thing. You've heard this. Hey, I'm feeling upset. Go for a walk, right? When you go for a walk, you feel better. Why? Because both sides of your brain are getting activated at the same time by the bilateral stimulation.
Just curious, and I'm going to take advantage of your expert opinion while I'm here. Does that count if you're like doing reps like this, like
It
let's say
can.
curls? Is that
Yeah,
the same thing? Kind
but
of?
you would have to do a lot of curls.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could do some,
Yeah.
I think, but there's this idea, this technique called the ladybug hug, where you just do that back and forth.
Why do I feel like I was doing that?
You
this
are.
whole...
You do it a lot. Yeah, you've always done that.
No way.
You're self-soothing. You're
That's
regulated.
crazy.
You can do that and just think about an uncomfortable feeling that you're feeling. One thing that I love to teach people, and you can also do this thing called a butterfly hug, where you're just doing that.
Is that what tapping? Like people talk about EFT tapping?
Yeah, emotionally freedom technique is more
Okay.
about acupuncture points on the body,
Oh, okay.
but that also helps. But this is easier to do. Say you're in a meeting. You can put your hands.
Say you're filming a
Yeah,
podcast.
filming a podcast. You can even say to yourself, "This is hard. Like I'm feeling anxious, and this is hard, and I'm going to be okay." Acknowledge that you feel anxious. This is hard. Acknowledge that it's hard, and acknowledge that you're going to be okay. Just breathe. This is hard, and I'm going to be okay. Doing that, I do that more than any other technique. And I get through 99% of my freakouts without freaking out.
And you do all of that sober too.
Do it all sober. Yeah, it's easier to do sober. It is so much easier to do sober. Life is so much easier sober. It just, ugh. You, every person on the planet could get wiped out and it'd just be me. No accountability. I could
It
do
needs-
whatever I want and I would never, ever pick up another fucking drink ever again. Ever. It is the gift that my sobriety has given me is a gift from God. I'm so grateful. I didn't used to be able to say this, but today I am so grateful
How long did
that
it
I'm an
take
alcoholic.
to get to the point of like white knuckling it versus?
It took me about 4 to 5 years to get sober. From the time that I admitted I was an alcoholic to the day of my last drink. And I destroyed everything in my life around that. And then the first, 7 or 8 years weren't hard, but they were still a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And after I hit the 10-year mark, I just don't even, I don't care. My wife will drink a couple glasses of wine once in a while. I don't have a problem with it. I don't miss any of it at all.
I will say it does make me excited to see the younger generations kind of turn
away
from alcohol.
Problem is that the marijuana is just terrible.
Just as bad, yeah.
You know what I found is even equally as hard to quit than alcohol, though, is fucking carbs.
Oh my God, I've never even tried.
Like I'm still trying to get rid of the weight from COVID, and I'm having a real hard time doing that because I exercise a lot, but it's so hard. People that have food addiction, my heart goes out to them because it's not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy. You don't have to drink. You don't have to do blow. You don't have to smoke weed.
You do have to eat.
You have to eat.
Yeah.
You have to eat.
Eating disorders are a whole other, I could talk about that for hours.
Yes,
too.
whole nother monster.
Really sad. Yeah.
You think we got enough today?
I think we did, yeah.